Moving on to the Eagles' 13-12 win over the Buffalo Bills. Good gracious, where do I start? Let me start with the positives as far as the Eagles are concerned. That defense, holy shit. I mean, you made Superman Josh Allen look like Clark Kent. I mean, literally, the Bills could not do a damn freaking thing. And think about this. The Eagles defense held the second best EPA offense in the entire league to 8 consecutive drives without any points. And the first time they got points, they got the ball at midfield. I know it was a raining monsoon. I know there was no Kincaid, but you still have Josh Allen and James Cook, and they couldn't do a damn thing. For most of the season, you asked me who the best defense is. I'd have told you maybe early on, maybe the Cleveland Browns or the Texans or the Seahawks. Are we sure it's not the Eagles? Do you realize ever since last year when Vic Fangio first became the Eagles defensive coordinator that the Eagles have the least amount of points given up per game? That's the same thing true this year. Ever since I think the breaking point is week 8. Week 8 on, the Eagles have given up the least amount of points. It's ridiculous. Remember what they did to the Green Bay Packers? Remember what they did to the Lions? The Cowboys have not scored more than 24 points in either game against the Eagles. And they're pretty explosive offense. You hold the Buffalo Bills to freaking 12 points. This defense, for as bad as this offense is, this defense is just as good, if not better. Can a defense alone win you a championship in 2025? I think they can. And for those of you that disagree with me, there's been 2 games, 2 in the entire season this year, where a team did not complete a single pass in the second half. Both those instances were the Eagles, and they are 2-0 in those games. Makes no sense. Makes no logical sense other than you got a damn good defense that's saving your behind. People say you're not going to be able to keep getting away with this. People say you can't do this in the playoffs. I beg to differ, because in the playoffs is when defenses mattered the most. I mean, all you have to do is look at the wild card game against the Eagles and Packers last year. It was a slop fest. You won with defense. And the crazy thing is they're doing it with 4-man rushes half the time. You realize the Eagles over the last 4 games have 18 sacks? 18 sacks in the last 4 games. That leads the league the last 4 games. You want to know how much it leads the league by? I think it's 1 sack, 2, 3, 4. Try 7. A defense travels. A defense and a running game travels. Now, the running game is something completely different. We'll get into that. But the defense travels. It's something you can kind of count on. That's what gives the Eagles a chance to repeat as champions, despite how inconsistent, and that's putting it mildly, this offense is. It gives you a chance. Now, speaking of said offense, good Lord. Some people want to instantly turn to Jalen Hurts. He's the reason. He sucks. He's overrated. Not a top 10. When Jalen is shit, I'm the first to admit it. In the Bears game, in the Chargers game especially, those back-to-back games, he was absolute trash. I don't think this game was because of Jalen. He didn't turn the ball over, and it's not like he was just throwing these wildly uncatchable, erratic passes. He was throwing out of bounds. He had like 8 passing attempts, and without looking, I think probably like 3 or 4 of them were out of bounds. 2 of them were drops. Someone who's rolling out of a bad pocket, looking downfield, has nothing because it's all covered up, and throwing the ball out of bounds. I don't look at that as, oh man, you're trash. There was 8 passing attempts. I went back and watched. One was Jalen Hurts' fault. That's the one where it was a little high, but it was in Devontae's hands and it just went through his hands. That one, while it should have been caught, A.J. Brown was wide open on an out route. Wide open. Boom. Easy first down. Jalen missed that. The other 7, I have a hard time blaming Jalen Hurts. There was a Dallas Goedert drop. There was a couple where he had to throw out of bounds because he had no one open. There was another pass to Devontae that should have been caught. They even ruled it a catch, and then they overruled it. Even the announcer, the commentators, and even the rules analyst guy was saying, I would not have overruled that. It was a long, long list of things that went against the Eagles when it came to officiating. Holy shit. And I'm so fucking glad that the Eagles won, because if the Eagles did not win this game, I would be on here looking like sour grapes, making excuses. I'm so glad they won so I can bitch at the refs just without people coming at me. That was trash. One, Jalen Hurts took a nasty out-of-bounds shot on the sideline where if you did that to Mahomes or Josh Allen or Burrow or anybody, it'd be like they committed murder. Not a single flag was thrown. What? There was a non-defensive pass interference call to A.J. Brown. I think we all know where I'm going with this one. Up the sideline, A.J. Brown went up with one hand. And initially, live, I was bitching. I was like, what the hell kind of half-ass effort was that? Why are you going up with just one hand? What the hell? Like, that was a dime. What are you doing? Found out why. The guy literally was giving his freaking arm a bear hug. How in the world was that not pass interference? That should have been a touchdown because it would have been caught otherwise, or it should have been 1st and goal from the 1 because it was a DPI. So we ended up having to settle for a field goal that drive. That screwed us out of 4 points. Don't think I did not remember those 4 points as the Bills are trying to win the game with that 2-point conversion at the end. Do not think for a second I wasn't thinking of those 4 points. I'm like, them refs fucking screwed us. These 4 points are fucking gonna matter. And for the people that say, oh, I shouldn't have came down to that, blah, 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 if you're as good as you think you are. Man, these games are, with two good teams, usually are tight as hell. Look at the 49ers and Bears game. We're gonna get into it, but it came down to one play, basically. When they play other good teams, it's usually tight. So, yeah, 4 points matters half the time. You can't miss a defensive pass interference like that. That was god-awful. And then they call a long defensive pass interference like Quinyon Mitchell, which you could really argue it either way. You know what that means when you can argue whether it was or wasn't? You know what that means? It means it was ticky-tack. And they called that one, but they left that. Then there was a long one to Tyrell Shavers. Freaking, they didn't even take a look at it, but I do think the ball actually did hit the ground. I do think it hit the ground. It fell on top of him, but as he rolled over, I do think the ball hit the ground without him having full control over it. They didn't even take a look at it. I was like, I think that's incomplete. And then I just mentioned about the Devontae Smith that should have been caught, that was ruled a catch and they unruled it. Man, like everything, every call was going against the Eagles. I was like, what is this? I know we're in Buffalo, but god damn. The Eagles offense, I just think played it super, super safe. I mean, it was like run, pass, run, pass. I think they even ran on a 3rd and 8, which I'm just up here like, what the hell? They say that they weren't playing extra conservative. I don't know. Again, I really don't think the second half was much on Jalen Hurts, to be honest with you. Like, there was times where they had one guy go out, one receiver go out. He was double covered. Everybody else was rushing Jalen, and Jalen had like one guy to throw to. And like I said, he was double covered. It's like, yeah, he's going to roll out, escape. Thank God he escaped the safety and just throw it out of bounds. Like, there's nowhere to go with the ball. And that's the thing about Jalen Hurts that people just don't understand. He's risk adverse. He's not going to put the ball in harm's way needlessly when you're up 13-0. I get it's against Buffalo. I get it. But it's also a monsoon. Your defense is playing freaking amazing. You're backed up against your goal line. You're not going to sit there and make a stupid throw at that time. You're going to throw it out of bounds. And at the time, in the moment, it hurts because drive over. You know, I get it. I understand it. It doesn't look pretty. Let me make a perfect example, okay? Jalen Hurts had 110 yards. That was all in the first half because he didn't complete a pass in the second half, right? Josh Allen, 262 yards. Did it look like Josh Allen threw for 262 yards? No. There was like 2 bombs that he threw that were like 50-50 balls that just luckily got caught. And I'm not dogging Josh Allen. I'm not dogging Josh Allen. What I mean by 50-50 balls, I don't mean that we're great throws or anything like that. I just mean like the DB's right there. Like he's right there. It's a 50-50 ball. But he just threw it up. Those could have easily been intercepted, but the Bills had to generate something. Jalen Hurts up 13-0 doesn't have to generate something right now with a risky throw with people that's not open. It's a structural way in how he thinks when he throws the ball. I'm not saying he's top 10 or this or that. I know people want to sit there and classify something. Oh, he sucks, or you're either a Jalen Hurts lover, or you're a hater, or whatever like that. I've been called a hater, and I think I'm the most realistic about it. You got to understand his thought process, all right? And you can't argue with it. The guy wins. You realize over the last 3 years, he has faced Mahomes 3 times, Allen twice, Lamar once, Burrow once, and Stafford 4 times. Those are all elite quarterbacks, right? Very elite. Those are the elite of the elite. He's 11-0 against them. 11-0. And before people sit there and say like, well, Josh Allen doesn't have this. He's the whole team, or this person doesn't have this. He's the whole team. Well, you can't sit there and dog Jalen Hurts because he has elite receivers or this or that or blah, 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 and then make excuses for the other guys. Well, he doesn't have this and he doesn't have that. Well, I guess he needs these things too then, doesn't he? Like, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. Like, why do all these elite QBs need Jalen Hurts' roster if they are so much better? Now, that doesn't mean he's perfect. He has flaws. I went over him tons of times. I'm not going to get into him more here. Go watch that video. And I thought in the first half, he was making some pretty damn clutch throws. Threading a missile through 2 defenders, throwing up some dimes and everything else. Like, he was actually playing pretty damn good in the rain against the Bills in the first half. Second half, Eagles went into a shell. And they seem to do that. Remember, we were up 21-0 against the Cowboys. What happened in the second half? Shell. We were up a lot to the Buccaneers. What happened in the second half? Go into a shell. First game against the Dallas Cowboys, we're scoring I think on our first 4 drives. What happened in the second half? Nada. The Eagles just continue to operate this way. You know, I've heard this term thrown around quite a bit, and I actually agree with it. The Eagles have a prevent offense. Not a prevent from preventing themselves from scoring, although they do that quite well. It's more of let's not fuck it up. All right, we have this lead. Let's not fuck it up. Let's rely on our defense. Let's blah, 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 blah. It drives me crazy. And another thing is they don't know how to adjust to the adjustment. How many times have we seen the Eagles come out and we're actually relieved because the Eagles are actually moving the ball? And it's like, okay, man, we already know how good this defense is. If the Eagles are going to play like this game, we're going to roll. And then in the second half, it's like, where to go? Where to go? And I think it's because the other team adjusts and we don't know how to readjust. We go into that with our game plan. And if that game plan is the right game plan for the team we're playing, we have the talent, we soar. But once they adjust, we're fucked. And if it's not the right game plan for that team, we're fucked. We have an offensive coordinator and coaching problem on the offensive side. We do. That doesn't mean that Jalen has no blame to carry sometimes. I completely agree with you. I just know how Jalen Hurts' mind works when it comes to football. He's not he knows the situation. He's not going to fuck it up with something stupid. That's why the Chargers game, I was like, because he doesn't do that. Now, on the Bills side, everyone's dogging McDermott for going for 2. I got a couple of thoughts on this. One, absolutely the right call. Absolutely the right call. One, the throw was there, number one. You haven't been able to do nothing against this Eagles defense. Nada. Nothing. All of a sudden, you have the Eagles defense gassed. They're on their heels for the first time, it seems like, all freaking game. And you can end it right here while you have momentum. Absolutely the right call. Absolutely the right call to end it there. Because you never know. You go into overtime. What if the Eagles get the ball first? Who knows? Maybe it's a 3 and out. Wouldn't surprise me. But whatever. You give that Eagles defense a time to get off the field. Whatever. Even if it's the coin flip. Even during the coin flip. Even if you get the ball first. And you probably should take the ball first. But the Eagles still get to go to the sideline and just, a little bit. The way it was going, absolutely the right call. Take advantage right there while you got all the momentum in the world. I get the people that want to say, if you go into overtime, the Eagles haven't done nothing in the second half, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I do get it. But I think right there was the perfect time. You had all the momentum in the freaking universe. I completely agree with going for it right there. Here's the other thought, though. Why is it that if Jalen Hurts sneezes the wrong way, he gets bashed so much by fans? But when Josh Allen misses a wide open throw to win the game and he misses badly, does he get a pass? And yeah, sure, I've heard people say Josh Allen missed it, he threw a bad ball, but they kind of say it like that. It's all about, it was a terrible decision by Sean McDermott to go for 2. Why'd he go for 2? Blah, blah, why'd he go for 2? Blah, 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 blah. Motherfucker, if Josh Allen would have executed. And don't get me wrong, I'm not dogging Josh Allen in the sense that he's not a top quarterback. He is easily top 3, and he's probably not 3. I'm just saying, be consistent. It's like when you reach a certain level as a quarterback, it's almost like you're untouchable. And I think Josh Allen's there. He's untouchable. Come on. The guy did not execute. The throw was there. He missed it. That's on him. And if that was Jalen Hurts, my friends would have crucified me in the chat. So I don't want, keep the same energy. Now, speaking of why he missed it, look, it goes back to the Eagles defense. Did you see how he was just drifting back and drifting back and drifting back? And he really didn't need to if you watch it. So he's already still falling back and he's trying to get enough on the pass and everything else. Like the pressure that was in his face all throughout the game paid off right there. So in some sense, the Eagles made him miss that pass just from the pressure and just working up his clock. speeding up his clock over and over and over again. It's one of those things where it's really weird. On one hand, as an Eagles fan, I'm like, oh my God, dude, we should have beat this team by so much more. We almost lost this freaking offense, man. Why does it go completely dead in halves? Like against the Rams, it was the first half. Against the Bucks and you guys and the Cowboys or whatever, like it's the second half. Like, why can't we play a consistent 60 minutes of football? On the other hand, you beat Josh Allen and the Bills at their place in a game that mattered probably more to them for a divisional standpoint to win their division than it did to us. I'll take that. I mean, when you really look at the Eagles' schedule, I mean, Jesus Christ, they beat the Rams. People want to sit there and say like, oh, it took like 2 block kicks. I don't care what it took. They beat them. They beat the Lions. Granted, the Lions aren't going to make the playoffs, but they're a scary team. They're a team that can get you. They have a lot of offense, and Gibbs scares the crap out of me. We beat the Packers. We just beat the Bills. We beat the Bucks, who might get into the playoffs. And this probably isn't as impressive as it was at the beginning of the year, but we did beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead when they absolutely want revenge on us. Like, we beat a lot of playoff teams and or good teams, and I know the Bears just kicked our ass. That was the worst game our defense has played. And I know we lost the Chargers, but I still will say, man, we were the better team. Just don't turn it over 6 fucking times, you know? I mean, so really, other than the Bears, what team has really imposed their will on the Eagles? So anyway, Eagles hang on the win, 13-12. Crazy, crazy game. One of those games that when it's over, as an Eagles fan, it's very hard to know how the hell you feel about it. But again, you beat a damn good team that wanted the win more than you did, and you beat them at their place. I mean, they could have easily... The Bills are still a lot of people's favorite to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC. Let that sink in. And you beat them. You went to their house and beat them. Take it. Take it.